Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, amazing Propagandacast. I'm your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Arnhem Checkpoint in the south. It's Hero once more, fighting for America, freedom, democracy, taking on the role here of the 1st Armored Division, tasked with breaking through the German lines, held here under the command of Scoped, fighting for the Oberkommando West Germany, Deutschland, fighting for the Führer Grenadier Brigade, with Elite Armoured Doctrine, boasted by Elite Armoured elements. We got Mechanized up here against him, triple infantry on Scope's side, infantry, weapon rack bulletin, and grenade bulletins. Looking to be an aggressive fight here between Scoped and Hero. Hero has certainly shown himself to be a very aggressive American player. And certainly an aggressive American player who knows how to use grenades can be a very, very uncomfortable thing to go up against. Folks coming up straight with Stream Pioneers for the fuel point and the car on the west note here is actually wiring off here. Clearly Scoped has had some experiences where the opponents been able to dig in here and actually cause him some grief there. More folks arriving here for Scoped and the Führer Grenadier Brigade, one of two brigades formed out of the security elements around the Wolfschanze after the Führer abandoned it, which was interesting enough actually composed out of I think it was actually initially a battalion from the Großdeutschland Panzer Grenadier Division, which actually very interestingly caused the Allies, once the brigades were sent to the Western Front, they actually thought that the Großdeutschland Division had been shifted towards the Western Front, but in reality it was just the Führer brigades. So a little fun fact there. Quick dodge struck out here though for Hero. Folks with his rifleman here. Oh, we're good to engage for the rifleman, then the garrison cover. The folks are not. More folks are moving here, in which case the situation is turning against the rifleman. In particular, one from here from the fountain abilities to get some good hits on the west side. Reactions versus Sturmpioneers. That's going to win there, I think, for Scope. The Reactions do not stand much of a chance against the might of the Sturmpioneer. More folks out there for Scoped. A rifleman there falling a bit back. Bit of shooting here, and in the east we got the truck moving up there. A rifleman moving up. Bit of shooting here against the Reaction Sturmpioneers. They're slowly whittling down the defenders down to, with only one being to shoot. He can do some damage, but over the Sturmpioneers DPS is just way beyond what the Reactions can actually do here. So obviously got a bit of a game here, so he's trying to get around here, trying to get away, maybe stalled by some time. They keep the Sturmpioneers tied down until other troops can arrive to relieve the situation here. But it could end up backfiring in here if he's not careful. He's clearly trying to get the riflemen so that way deal with the Sturmpioneers, but now there's a good chance of end up losing them. There we go, riflemen arriving. In the centre, Fulton's occupying the church as riflemen inside the cafe. There we go, Fulton meant to back up here. We got a 2-2-1 on the way there for Scope. His truck is on the move as well there. Could be Battlefield headquarters, could be Mechanized. Both could work out there. Dark truck so far as Bali just being used to grab territory. And again, I think it's again, we saw him using, we actually found out we can actually do that. And so far seems to be the only one that really is using it like that. Which, by the way, is really interesting. So, he's definitely not your average American player, which of course as always makes him interesting. Because it's when someone goes off the beaten track in some ways, you can actually learn more about a faction than I can actually do. And that I think is always worth highlighting, worth showing off. Because the more you know, the more you can actually do. So there you go. Dart truck there with 5th Cav now mounted on the back here, opening up on the Fulton Grenadiers. Rifleman versus Fulton, they continue to fight out. Fulton's actually bleeding out here. That's good there for Hero. Could open out here for the centre, falling into hands of the 1st Armoured Division. Battle Group headquarters up here for him. We got the 2-2-1 moving ahead here. Fun fact about the 2-2-1, Scout car was actually based off a civilian car design. And that was basically what they based it off, similar with the 232 armoured car, which was sort of the precursor to the 234, and thus the Puma. That was also based off a civilian car design. In fact, a lot of their early, shall we say, vehicular designs were generally just based off something else, and then they armoured it up. For example, the armoured half trucks were based off sort of these prime movers. They were just armoured up, so made into transport for infantry and such. So some fun facts there. Right, and there's the 2-2-1 here. Also got mounted on the carve point. Not bad. Follows the fighting from the restaurant against the rifleman here. Hero so far though is pushing ahead against Scope, but Scope nonetheless has map control here over the Americans for now. Well, of course, obviously we can maintain this for much longer. This Hero's only building up more and more steam. He's got the lieutenant out, could mean here for the steward. 50 caliber certainly looking very likely here for Hero. We'll have to see what it ends up with. There we go. Mechanized command post being unlocked here for the 1st Armoured Division. Dodge truck gaining veterans U1 as the 50 caliber wrecks the 221's thin armour with heavy caliber bullets. We can see in the east are taking loss. Yes, we got a big counterattack force. Smaller counterattack force going in there from Scope. Maybe it's just trying to blow that one up a bit. Point there being shot by the lieutenant. Noting Bali can see that Scope's actually very good with laying down sandbags in there. Very good move. And we got the flak half track on the way for Scope. Not something we see a lot of. But overall it's a good unit if you know how to handle it. Dart track there being fixed up. And there you go, Bunhunting on the go against the Lieutenant, but overall the Lieutenant should be able to win this one thanks to the Thompson. The Thompson, of course, is a really good weapon here in the Lieutenant. And usually means that the Lieutenant can win any engagement if he gets up close. Flak half track there slowly approaching for the Germans for the Führer Grenadier Brigade. Riflemen there reinforced. 50 caliber on the way there for Hero, probably following up for the Steward. And Scope is definitely going to need other Kettenwerfer, possibly Panzerschrecks as well. We'll have to see what course what he ends up doing. Now, of course, here that Hero is probably one of the few players I've seen that actually just use it to grab territory in the 50 caliber and actually doesn't use it to transport infantry. It's unusual to say the least. I mean, you don't have to use it to transport infantry, but certainly has some punch there. But it's interesting. 50 caliber moving up, rifle grabbing points there. Lieutenant got the point here as well, going for the car point. Hits the mine though, and Hero is forced to retreat his rifleman there, rather than risk a ignoble death at the hands of the Germans, the Krauts. Rifleman versus Volksgrenadiers here. 2-1 on the move. Says Basil. Just gonna grab him so he doesn't begin jumping about on the keyboard, because he likes doing that. He doesn't quite understand the concept of a keyboard, or the concept of it, you know, messing things up if he begins stepping on it. I mean, I'm sure he knows he grabs some attention, but it's just, you know, the annoying kind of attention. Anyways, flak half coming up there. Cat has been secured, so he's no longer going to be a nuisance for us. Just a fluffy bundle of purrs. Okay, on the way there. Air recon's out here, I believe, from... oh, he's marking it, actually. Interesting. I mean, Hero's definitely got something going on there. 5th Cavalry that's holding up the German forces here. Führer Grenadier Brigade can't break past the church, which the 1st Armoured Division has secured with her machine guns, light vehicles, and a bit of infantry there. Veteran 2 on the dart truck already. Nice work. And we can see that he's bringing up the Steward light tank to back up his forces. Cut off there on the eastern fuel point there by Scope. Nice play there. Nice play. Moving here in the west. Steward slowly approaching here for Hero, for America. Freedom, democracy. Boswell's rifleman here, a rifleman moving up. Falling back there, and we got the flak up backed up with the Sturmpionierer. 4 kills, closing in Metron 2-1. Lieutenant here with a bazooka, that's going to be a problem here for the 221. Noting that Scopes has not bothered upgrading it, probably because he just wants to use it as an armoured car to support his troops and is less concerned with the securing himself a fuel edge faster versus the Americans. So Harry there has got his Steward light tank out. That's going to give Scope there a bit of a hard time. He does have like Kettenwerfer, but he could end up finding himself needing the Panzerschreck as well to have a better chance against this onslaught of American war material. So there we go. Steward going up. Flag half deck doing what he can in a bit of an exposed position there. Not far off from getting the Panzerschreck on the Sturmpioneers if he so decides he needs it. Heading for the fuel pond there. Nice work by Hero. Scoped, and the Germans here are losing a bit of ground here to the 1st Armoured Division, which is ratcheting up the pressure ever so slowly. Flak after got against the Lieutenant, opening up there with a 2 cm flak and towering into the Lieutenant, causing quite a bit of damage here. Chance of getting a wipe with the flak half check in that way can be quite nasty. Down to just one man there, the bazooka as well. Can the flak half track finish off the last runner here? Stood moving up. Blitzes right past the Kettenwerfer and goes straight for the flak half track there, undermining Scope's western positions, whatever that was left of them. Here we could go for carry rifle to back up his forces with a bit more assaulting formations. Eastern victory point being secured. Moving up to deal with the rifleman in the west. Flak half track. Oh, 2-1 attack holding up here, but needs to be mindful of that. So light tank, which Hero is repairing on the fuel point itself. Scope following up with the MD-34. Push for the curve one there. A lot of action going on here. Flak half tank being fixed up. 3 kills so far. full Grenadier advancing here. Fewer Grenadier Brigade under a lot of pressure here in the east. Rifle being taken up by the full guns and their Sturmgewehrs. MD-34 out, flag captain on the rifleman. But got 5th cavalry suppressing the full guns then. Nice work. Stood good to go again. I can't bring up support. But can't get up in time now. I can't run away there for scope. I mean, he's clearly away. He's not going to be able to get out any additional armor anytime soon. To counter Stu's getting more. I can't have a better chance. But there you go. Hero Mark made a slight mistake there. Pushed the suit too far ahead. But looks like the Kenros can't catch up and finish it off. So I guess it works out in the end. Hitting these some fuel enabled full Grenadiers, murmuring about here. Scoped is on the counter offense on the right flank. Dark shot there, certainly can't hold up the Germans on their own despite Hero's best efforts. Back at base, nothing further going on there as of yet. Ooh, careful of that flak after they're scoped. Straight into the bazooka, that is not grand, but there you go, Lieutenant suppressed. Meet you suffering 1 casualty. Problem, of course, is vehicles are so big that while suppression does decrease the accuracy of a unit, it doesn't matter that, you know, stuff like there's a vehicle. Of course, it does help with the reload rate, since that's also what's affected by being suppressed. Accuracy and, you know, reload speed, basically. So that's actually worth keeping in mind, which means suppression is most effective versus units, you know, that, you know, have, you know, shoot bullets. Flamethrowers they're less effective against because they're AoE weapons. Of course, reload's still going to hurt, and also less effective against stuff like bazookas versus vehicles because, again, they're less dependent on accuracy. So a few fun facts there. But MD-34 is the 5th cavalry here. Looks like the 5th cavalry is winning that one out here in the west. Heroes continue to exert extremely good control of the fuel point and the calf point, giving Scope a very hard time of things. Oops, my apologies there. Steward moving about here, flag calf track trying to get away. In the west, moving up here to grab the victory point here. Calf point is still being held up by the 5th cavalry, and like Kenner, there is risking getting wiped out. Not good development here for Scoped. Steward is zipping about quite effectively. Besides that case, we got a bit too close to the Panther first. I would say he's already been handling it quite well. So thumbs up there to Hiro. Almost getting a full wipe there on one of the Scope's infantry squads. 5th Caps could also try and set up here to wipe it up to the side, just to leave that one to the Steward light tank. Center victory bomb secured by the Americans. Forces are moving about here. Blitzing right past it. Machine gun moving out carefully about as well. There you go. Direct hit on the Steward light tank with the 88mm rocket of the Raketenwerfer. Back here, reinforcements, healing going on. Flag half setting out once more. The situation for Scope is looking pretty grim. He's getting 3 times less fuel than his opponent. Munitions wise, he's getting a lot less. Yeah, roughly 3 times less, in fact a bit more than that. So that's not good either here. Hero's only in many ways got a chance to pull ahead there that he's yet to take up. Flag after being rashed by rifle forces, Steward parties moving out. But Kettle from the Unit is expecting the Steward to rush up and try and take it out. They're going to tank rifle could finish it off the flak half track, but no, not enough there for another one. And the flak half track survives for now. Fuel upon the out is being seized for the lieutenant again, leaving Scope once more reeling and dazed. Darts coming up. The Raketenwerfer is not set up to deal with that though. Truck ready for Scope. Let's go to the Schwerpunkt headquarters. Rear echelons for Hiro, and he's got tag up as well. And there you go. Oh, shite. So the Schwerwehrmacht was being seized by the Steward here. Flag half tags coming up. That's not good there. That is really bad. Then again, he's taking a lot of damage. He might just be able to finish off with the Panther first, maybe. No. He gets away again. 32 there on the Steward light tank. Scope's got a sliver of terrain left against his American opponent. Major Imagine is almost done there for Hero. Shroud Panther, of course, going up there for Scoped. Thing is, so he's still going to have ages to go before he can get it. I mean, right now, his opponent's getting 20 or 42 fuel per minute. He's getting 10. I mean, basically, at this rate, you know, Hero can get out of Sherman every 3 minutes. If he sort of just can't fuel it on where it's Scoped, it's going to take at least, you know, over 10 minutes to get one Panzer IV out. You're talking roughly 14. So right now, Hero's about to get steamrolled, Detroit style, unless he does something pretty spectacular to turn this around, or Hero gets overconfident and begins making some pretty grim mistakes. What's the pushback? Rifle moving in. Flak half good to go. MG-34 sitting out. Some Obersan could help scope down a bit here versus all the troops here from Hero. The Obersan should not be taken lightly at all. He's going for the line, going to sit to help you with the support, so that's not bad either. But the true flak half tech is great here for Hero. Well, scope, less great for Hero. Still moving up here, trying to like Kednaffer. Direct hit from one. Mark target as well here from the dodge. Shark nearby, nice work, but there he goes through this, almost down. Can he do it? Can he finally take it out? Oh, there he goes, straight into the Shroud Planted quarters. Hero went too far, and the Stuart is down. Now that's huge for Scopes, and the Stuart was really a huge problem for him, keeping him easily constrained. But now with the Stuart down, he should have a good chance to push ahead. Until the Sherman hits. Aircraft crashes down, taking out a building. Good God. Still needs to get the fuel back. He needs to get tanks out. He might be forced to have to go for Yak Pan to have a chance against the 76mm Sherman, since the Panzer IV is going to be somewhat risky there. But we'll have to see what Scope goes for. He could also try and stay up for the Panther, obviously. But for that, he needs, you know, more than 10 fuel per minute. Noting that he's actually gone for munitions cache. Might be sitting up there for grenades. 100 grenade off there. 50 cal there needs one as well. Could get the dodge. He actually ordered not to fire, but it's too late and he loses it. Folks, they need to retreat. They're pinned down to the ground. Exposed. Still fire raining down there. Troops still reinforcing. Finally got the fuel. We're up at 20 now, but his opponent's still getting 32 fuel per minute. There's still a world of a difference there. Always on for Scoped. That should help a bit here, at least somewhat versus Hero. But, of course, the main issue right now is there's a Sherman on the move, and Scope's going to need both of cameras ready on the spot to deal with that one at all times. So how will Scope deal with this longer term? I mean, obviously, again, Panther IV can also work well with heat rounds. I forgot about that, obviously, since it does increase damage and penetration, which does make the Panther IV a lot more favoured against the 76mm Sherman. But, you know, still, there might be other options you could consider here. Sherman moving towards the centre there. Relying on its mobility and speed here to try, you know, minimise the effectiveness of the Kednaffers. German Pioneers is dodging, or are dodging, every shot from the Sherman somehow. That is ridiculously lucky there for Scope, to be honest. Bring up here for the Western fuel point, flak up, tag up. Their troops being hammered with flak fires. The forces trying to clear the rifle by the fuel point there. While he's got Bartlight to come, mostly still is not enough there. It is not enough. Flak half track there, by the way. Oh, they're about to go down. Pop smoke, retreat. So work. The Kednaffer moving up here with Thunder backed up by the Steel Pioneers and all that. Kednaffer there goes Sherman in, and fast in like Kednaffer can react. It quickly zips towards the west. All of a sudden, going to be the next player here of the Simpson with Sherman. He's going for the flak half track though. Can like Kednaffer's catch up. Steel Pioneers in the center being suppressed. There you go. Flak half track finally bites the dust. Hero's able to put that one out of its misery. Shroud Punted quarters opening up here in the rear of the Sherman tank. All of a sudden, there's his rifleman grabbing the eastern victory point with the Fultz Grenadier. artillery rain down on the church. Sherman adding the 50 caliber there to help deal with infantry, not bad. Hero can almost go for another Sherman, where Scoped is almost able to go for the Jagdpanzer, Panzer IV. Certainly highlighting the world in difference there between, you know, holding a little fuel and holding most of the fuel. Jason said looking quite dark here for Scope, but he's slowly pushing his way back, though he's down 126 versus the 424 of Hero. So what will Scope do and what will Hero do?
A capture point is under attack.
Rifleman eastwards. Artillery up north here, trying to take out some of the support weapons here. Direct hit on the light infantry gun. Kills Port Jürgen. But Dieter and the rest seem to be surviving. Even Dietrich. There we go, second Sherman on the way there for them. That's going to be in 2 tanks versus Scope's none. He's going to be in for a bit of a rougher ride there. MD-34 setting out. Into the house, that's going to be able to cover the area here nicely. 50 cover those out in the open. Could take fire there from the MD-34. Let's get blasted a bit. There you go, 50 cover out in the open, exposed here to MD-34. Fire gun, another 50 cover current, but that's also getting hammered. Second Sherman almost done there for Hero, and the first Armoured in the west for your Brigade Volksgrenadiers. I fear Grenadier Brigade forces are being overwhelmed here by the riflemen and are quickly dispatched. And we got the Panther IV for Scope, decides he has to go for what he can get, which is the Panther IV. Which of course means he's going to be highly reliant on the heat rounds here to have a decent chance versus the 76 with Shermans, because otherwise that Panther IV is toast. And even with the heat rounds versus 2 76 with Shermans is going to be quite rough. Fighting for the western point, the MD-34 up on the right, and then we got 114 versus the 406 of Hero. Sherman's being westwards there, adding those 50 caliber machine guns. Always on the about to get annihilated in a matter of seconds, took care of before Scope could react. Certainly highlighting the lethality of the Shermans there. So quite a blow there to Scope that lost his most elite infantry squad. Also most expensive infantry squad, and that's going to be a bit difficult to replace. But we now have the Panther IV here for Scope. The Panzer IV model yay. Unit wiped here. That's 2 machine guns probably gone. I think if a Scope he had 2 MD-34s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's 1, but oh wait, he's got none now. And that's ultimately, I think, what matters for Scope. He's got no machine guns left. He's also gone for triple Academy, as that one feels a bit on the excessive side. He could be asking for trouble in some strange way, but of course there's a lot of tanks and it's good, but not great versus the infantry that Hero's also got going. Shots bouncing, no heat rounds left on the Panther IV. Kevin's backing up there, forcing Hero Sherman to pull back, and the centre got following up and gained the machine gun bar, the munitions cache, grab Neeson fuel pump as well, hot cough on the also hit. Very good work by Scope, turning the tide against Hero. Nice work there. Munitions cache the next target for the Wrath of Deutschland. 75 points left versus the 460 of Hero. Scope's in for a very long climb. He has to win this. And Oberstein squad number 2 almost done there for Scoped. Air comes out once more here from Hero. Good idea there, creates from a quick idea there of how Scope's position waiting for someone to maybe exploit. Any weakness the most? Sherman's rolling ahead here. Panther needs to build distance. Academy was also in a bad spot. Oberstein moving in, but once more they might find themselves a bit gun. Panther goes down here to the Sherman, simply not enough to stop them. So in the end, yeah, 1 Panther Horse and 2 Shermans, not the best. Orbs on there doing heavy damage to the riflemen, but ultimately not enough either. Shroud Panther Corps doing heavy damage to the Shermans, so rearming explosive first on the flak. Anti-aircraft rounds, like piercing it and almost taking out the Sherman on its own. Good job, flak crew. 72 versus 398. So what will Scope go for next? Yak Panther, another Panther 4 would go for the Panther, would even try and play for the King Tiger. And there's a few options here for Scope to choose versus his opponent. Of course, again, the matter question is, what does he choose? Triple re-echelons on the way for Hero. That might have been a misclick. It's hard that he just wants a lot of stuff to help repair his tanks faster. Sturm Pies dealing with the 5th Cavalry in the centre. Could end up poorly here for Hero. He's not fast enough to retreat. There we go. Pops out, but he's very low on health. Grenade off as well. Could see the 5th Cavalry character go down here. That's looking likely. And he's going to nab it. Turning against the Americans. It's the armies. Oh, he salvages it. I mean, that also works. All the way. Western fuel pump lost once more to the Americans. And there you go. Triple re-echelons out for Hero. That is definitely not something you see every day. An opponent at this stage of the match just decides to go for triple re-echelons. I mean, it does make sense in the context of just one of the tanks repaired extra fast, but it still strikes me as a bit weird. Car pump there seized. Fuel pump being grabbed back for the German army. Machine gun still abandoned. Will it be recruit or will he just be forgotten? 5th Cavalry there. Inside the church, going to get hit. Van Hunt gone over as well. Sherman Pies need to retreat now that they're close to the veterans of free. 5th Cavalry is about to get murdered there if Hero doesn't get it out now, and there you go, it dies. Bit of a loss there for Hero. It's actually, in fact, just down to 2 infantry squads, and that's actually a bit of a problem there for Hero, a bit of an issue in terms of force composition. You generally want more than 2 infantry squads, so having just 2 riflemen, you've got 3 echelons is, I think, in my opinion, a bit risky. He's going for another Panther 4. The Scope is going for another Panther 4, despite how easy the Shermans dispatched that first Panther 4. Scoped is committed to more Panzer IVs. He is a believer. The Kedden effort crew destroyed. Guns about to get wrecked as well. Orbison dealing with the advanced garrisons, wiping out 1 squad. In fact, he's lost all 3 of his reaction squads in a short matter of time. That is a lot of manpower suddenly gone there for Hero on top of the 50 calibers. He is going for another Sherman, but right now Hero might actually have painted himself into a bit of a corner there, since while he does have a lot of tanks, he does not have a lot of things to work with them. Folks, they're being routed by the Shermans. She's an eastern fuel point. Sherman almost done. Panther Fast and 1 Panther 4 moving in. Will he pop heat rounds? He would if he had the munitions, I think. But right now, Scope does not have the munitions. Shoots, misses. It is worth noting, besides the 221, Scope has not made any use of the Jocks on these. We see no tank commanders, no heat rounds so far. He's about to lose his Panther 4 if he's not careful. 3rd Sherman, by the way, they're mobilised here, and there you go, Kedden joining in, finally taking out one of Hero's Sherman tanks. Panther 4 gains veteran to one of Kedden for moving up. Will he pop the heat rounds just to make sure he actually destroys it? No. Got the other Sherman, but he's down to just 1 Panther 4 still with low health versus the remaining Sherman, which is a better health. Still, he's blitzing away there to try and save it. Oh, shot bounce, shot misses with the other one. Past the rifle, going to pop an anti-tank rifle grenade, damage the engine, but still he managed to damage the engine of the Sherman. Oh goodness. The Scope actually turned this around. Is this an actual genuine comeback for Scope versus Hero? Hero needs more infantry though. Comparatively, Scope has 4 infantry, well technically 5 actually with the Sturm Party, so in that regard, Scope enjoys a sizable infantry advantage versus Hero, who is suffering from an infantry deficit, and of course, a lot of other lackings as the game has progressed now. Also worth noting, Scoped has artillery. Hero does not.
They just fell to 50 points.
49 points left for Scope though. I mean, that's still the best chance now. I think increasing, of course, for Hero to win. It's the victory point, which will hold those well. He should have a good chance. But he is definitely not having easy time. Things Lieutenant Machine Gun grabbed. $38 versus 352. 36 versus 352. Folks was out there as the rifle and the map popping in Cynic, they're still taking a lot of damage from the BARs, tearing through them. Hero, I'm not entirely sure what he's setting up for now. He's got plenty of manpower, but he definitely needs more infantry, more troops. Not more re-echelons though. He definitely does not need more re-echelons. I can tell you that much. Folks, there's a Sherman here. Direct hit from the Sherman obliterates 3/5 of the unit. Cavalry rifle out here. Lieutenant again on the way there for Hero. So suddenly he's adding more infantry. Good. Thompson of the cavalry rifle would be great. That'd be in fact really great for him. Sherman with 5 kills to his name. Orbital Darden, squad number 2 on the way for Scope. Then put him at 6 infantry squads, which is definitely on the heavier end, and where generally would urge a bit of caution, if anything. But on the other hand, versus what little infantry heroes left, is certainly going to help, I think, possibly drive the final nail into the coffin here, possibly. And there you go, Obersoldaten squad number 12 for Scoped and for the Führer Grenadier Brigade. Lots of riflery here, there's the Panzer, including the cavalry riflemen. Noting they have not been upgraded with Thompsons, which you'd figure he'd do just automatically, considering how much munitions Hero has. He's not actually using a lot of it. I'm not seeing grenades, we're not seeing mines, since he can't really lay down a lot of them. So, a bit curious as to why he went for it under these circumstances. We haven't seen combined arms either, which is going to be a nice way of just using all of these spare munitions. AFI going on here. Pentacle is the rifle in the west. Orbison then joining in the front. Unit wiped again. Not good there for Hero. Great there for Scoped. Is turning the tide around, though. Notable difference then, 4 sides between the two players by now. This time though in favour of Scope. Victory points wise, he's down to 14 though. That's really his major issue right now. Anything near and Scope could end up losing. But if Hero keeps, losing units like this while not really making any appreciable gains or just straight up winning the fight, I mean Scope should have increasingly better chance of just winning this on his own. Regular Sherman away there for Hero. No more 76mm Shermans. No money for it in the budget. There we go, we got covering fire. We don't see that one being used very often, actually. But there we are with Hero, actually using abilities. Outstanding. Hand of all the lands, an excellent hit, and there you go, cavalry rifle annihilated. Hero and the 1st Armoured Division are suffering excruciating casualties here in their pursuit of victory against the Führer Grenadier Brigade. Panzer wing and they're going straight here for the social jump. Direct hit, main gun out. This is horrid for Hero. This is horrid. This is a disaster. Oh, shot bounced. Shot bounced. He saved the crew though. He's going for something for Sherman there, and there you go. Sherman popped. But Hero continues to remain in dire straits. You might want to consider getting the Majors some bazookas, forming up an improvised anti-tank team versus the Panzer IVs. That would certainly do Hero there a bit of good. Scoped he can actually go for another Panther 4 right about now. He could also go for a Panther soon. He wants to. Let's see what ends up with there. Sturm Pioneers caught laying down mines.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
Down to 14 versus 315. Sherman's heading out there. Needs that 50 caliber machine gun on top. That's going to do a lot against the tanks, but it should help versus the infantry. And right now, Hero needs every little bit of help he can get versus the Germans. I mean, if he had a mortar, he could lay down a smoke and then rush the center victory point and maybe also use that as a diversion to rush the western one. I mean, if he can just somehow get control of all three at the same time, he should have a chance. I mean, you couldn't just use the Sherman for that purpose, you know. Deploy smoke, rush it, and, you know, rush the other one. It's clear here that Scope is ready for that. He's actually got troops with sandbags blocking the point directly, so even if he smokes and rushes it, he has to deal with the Fulton covering the point directly first. But the situation here for Hero is steadily deteriorating. Sherman here roaming about on the back lines, looking for targets, but sadly Hero is finding none. What rotten luck. Most likely, I imagine he was looking for the veteran Panther 4, but that one's hidden away quite nicely there by Scoped. Kevin opening up there. He could go for Sturmtiger, I guess. I mean, that'd be, you know, something to go for. Would certainly be quite an explosive surprise for Hero. But beyond that, I mean, not sure what Scoped here would go for. There we go, another Panther 4. Dodge truck and a lieutenant here for Hero. Rushing the centre, should be rushing the west, not just stopping up munitions. I mean, just rush the victory point and going to go for it. Going for like Kevin at the rifling on the point here, Kevin creeping up there. Formally got footed on the other side. I'm surprised again, he's just not moving safe if he actually wants to grab the munitions point as well. I mean, it's not like Hero is lacking in munitions anyway, so it seems very superfluous what he's doing there. Also, grenades were great news for deploying smoke with his infantry and whatnot. Dart struggling up to grab the point. I suppose that's also a way of doing it, certainly. 261 versus 14. Sherman up, backed up by the vehicle crew there. Nope, all the active switched out his veteran crew from the 76 Sherman for this one. Very nice. Veteran 2 getting the Sherman, but unit wiped out. He's grabbed the western one, but this one's been lost. The second Panther arriving. Sherman down. Hero is in a sticky spot, and there you go. GG, game over. A loss for America. Freedom, democracy, victory for the German army. Deutschland. Also, big thanks to Steel Sledge and Time Dwarf 30 for donating and support the Propagandacast. Big thanks to your own company of heroes. But thank you all for joining in. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell your friends, tell your family. But don't tell your enemies. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow again for another exciting episode. Bye.